I'm not so sure why so many people still want to use an SCI. As soon as you rent furnished, then your SCI is going to switch to a corporate tax regime. And this is not necessarily what you wanted. Please do not jump on it straight away. You might lose a lot of tax exemptions. Hello guys, and welcome to the French Tax Online channel for a new video about the famous SCI. You probably heard of it, but is this really a good idea? Do you really need one? Okay, let's check it out. An SCI is a Société Civile Immobilière. This is a French type of company which is only dedicated to owning real estate. A lot of people use it to buy their properties, not necessarily the main residence, but a lot of people use it to invest in real estate in France. That's a very good question. To be completely honest with you guys, I'm not so sure why so many people still want to use an SCI. Because, to be honest with you, I don't believe that most of them actually need one. An SCI is a company, right? Just like an LTD. And you can use it as a corporate tax entity or income tax entity, which means that it can be transparent fiscally. But this is a separate entity from yourself, and therefore, as soon as you have an SCI, then you would have to comply with all the tax and accounting obligations. That's the very good question. Having an SCI, in my honest opinion, is only a good idea if you want to invest in a property, right? So I do not advise it for your main home. And in my opinion, again, I think that it really is important to have one for rental investment. If this is not a rental, then you really have to be careful about it, okay? Because the whole point of the SCI is about the rental income treatment and the inheritance tax, okay? The thing is, as soon as you rent furnished, then your SCI is going to switch to a corporate tax regime. And this is not necessarily what you wanted. We're going to talk about that a bit later. In the end, I don't advise you to use an SCI for your main home. Most of the time, I advise it for rental investment or second home if there is a tax planning behind. It is not a good idea to use an SCI to buy your main home in France because you might lose a lot of tax exemptions. Second point is for second home when you plan to rent them out. Because depending on the type of rental, then some new taxation might appear. If you want to use it for a second home, then do not do it randomly. Only do it when advised by someone who knows what it's talking about and when there is a tax planning behind this choice. The only website used to set up an SCI is inpi.fr. This is the official website to create companies in France. It takes about 2 weeks, 3 weeks maximum. We can do it, you can do it, lawyers can do it, accountant can do it, plenty of people can do it. Just be careful about who's doing it for you and make sure that the tax options are the right one and the ones you want for your SCI. That's a very good question. As I said earlier, the SCI can be taxed either to income tax, impôt sur le revenu, or corporate tax, impôt sur les sociétés. It changes everything regarding your SCI taxation. The income tax SCI is transparent fiscally, whereas the corporate tax SCI is not. It's treated as a limited company, and therefore you would have to pay the corporate tax on the profit. The good thing is, with this type of taxation, you do not pay personal taxation, but you do pay the corporate tax. Be careful though, once you switch to the corporate tax SCI, then it's going to change the whole capital gain tax calculation and payment in the end. So you have to be careful before switching to this regime. It's one of the most asked questions we have about SCI. The main difference between giving your kids a property or a property held into an SCI is the valuation. If you give them a property, then the valuation used is the market price of the property, whereas if you give them an SCI, then it would be the value of the shares of the company. And therefore, it means that the value of the shares is the value of the property minus the debt of the SCI, which means that in the end, if there is a huge debt, mortgage or owner account, then the final valuation used for the transmission can be much less than the valuation of the property. This is the big difference. Rental income through an SCI must be declared depending on the type of income it is. If it's an unfurnished rental income, then your SCI can remain to the income tax option. In this case, it's exactly the same as if there was no SCI. You would pay the income tax rate, which is 20% minimum for non-resident, plus the social charges, 7.5 or 17.2. That said, be careful guys. If you rent the property furnished, then the SCI must switch to the corporate tax. In this case, the SCI would pay the corporate tax on the profit, which would be the rental income minus expenses minus depreciation of the property, right? The corporate tax is 15% up to 42K of profit and then 25% above. If you sell a property held in SCI, then you're going to pay exactly the same capital gain tax as if there was no SCI. Unless, of course, you have the corporate tax option. Again, if there is the income tax option, then it doesn't change anything. It's exactly the same calculation and you're going to pay the same amount of capital gain tax as a regular non-resident selling a French property. If there is the corporate tax, then the whole calculation is different. You're going to pay the corporate tax first, right? And then if you want to take some money back, you're going to pay some taxes on dividend, which is why in the end, it might be much more expensive tax-wise. And again, this is why I really advise you guys to think about renting an SCI furnished or just switching to the corporate tax regime. It changes everything on the capital gain tax. If one of the partners dies or wants to get out, it depends on what's written in the bylaws of the SCI. Usually, the existing shareholders buy the shares to the heirs or to the shareholder directly. But again, it depends on what's written in the bylaws. This is why, again, you have to be careful about who is creating your SCI. Well, you can think it is, but in the end, it's not. And please do not think that it's the same buying a French property with your LTD than with an SCI. It's not. It's very not, actually. Buying a property in France with a foreign company is not a good idea, pretty much 100% of the time. Using a French SCI might be dangerous, but in any case, it won't be as bad as with an LLC or LTD, right? Because it's a French company dedicated to owning real estate, and this is what it's made for. And we can manage the taxes beforehand. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video about the famous SCI. I'm not saying having an SCI is a bad or good idea. I'm just saying that please do not jump on it straight away. Ask people that know about this, us or someone else, before creating one, because maybe you do not need one. Maybe you need a corporate tax SCI. Maybe, well, just don't do it without advice. I hope you liked it. I wish you all a very good day and see you soon on French Tax Online.